is a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful morning. I hope you guys are doing really well and living your best life. I hope everything is going great. It's Friday. My bad. My apologies. Good morning and happy Friday. I hope it's the end of the week for some of you guys. I know like a lot of people that watch my podcast and listen in, they typically work throughout the weekend because they're probably like business individuals. Let me tell you something. Don't work this weekend. Like, enjoy this weekend. We're about to go into August. So enjoy this last weekend of July. It's supposed to be hot. It's supposed to be hot. So get out, barbecue, be with your family, enjoy your time. Especially because debt is out here ruining people's lives more than anything. Debt is out here ruining people's lives more than anything. So today we're going to be diving into debt because there's a lot of misinformation out there. There's a lot of lack of information that we got to clear up. Now, obviously right now, many of you guys are probably, you might be a little bit newer to the podcast, or maybe this is your first time watching the podcast. We talk about all types of things in order to help you build success. And the success for me is both obtaining wealth and obtaining happiness. So because of that, one of the pieces of that is wealth. And right now we're actually diving into the Financial Foundation series. That's this pyramid that you see over here. It's the Financial Foundation, how to build a proper foundation first before you're trying to really step off on your journey to wealth building and also happiness. If you've got all four of these things perfectly in order and you've got them perfectly prioritized, then you're able to step off on your journey to to wealth and happiness much, much easier. But with all that being said, guys, before we dive into our episode today, I've actually got a sponsorship for us because, honestly, we've got Gamma, which has been amazing for us, and we've got Gamma's AI platform. And if you've not heard of Gamma, I'm going to show you a nice little sponsorship that I built for them as well, because today's podcast is going to be using Gamma's presentation software. So I'm going to play the ad right now for you guys. Today's podcast is brought to you from an amazing, beautiful partnership or sponsorship. I guess I wouldn't say that as a partnership. This is from Gamma AI. So I know AI, right? Everybody absolutely hates AI. They can't stand AI. They're, oh my God, AI this, AI that. It's absolutely crazy. But listen, Gamma AI is amazing. They are who I use presentations for. I can even create some like social media, LinkedIn carousels and some individual posts just from what I want. And I get to go in and I get to tell it to create, different sorts of images and artistry based on what I put into it. Like my notes, I take a lot of notes when I'm at business conferences. I take a lot of notes when I'm creating trainings, and I write down my different prompts for my own podcast episodes, my own trainings, the speeches that I do, the books that I read, and the books that I've written. I take a lot of notes, and so I can just simply upload my notes and my thoughts straight into it, and it'll create me just beautiful pieces of content and social media art presentations for both business and then also for you guys too. And if you follow me on social media anywhere, whether it's TikTok, LinkedIn, or any, you might have seen a few of them. I haven't used it as much as I like to, but you might have seen me use it a few, and it is just so simple and very easy. And also, I haven't even paid for it. So with that, guys, just be sure to check out gamma.ai, I believe. Check them out. This isn't a sponsorship. This isn't an actual sponsorship, but they have been absolutely incredible at some of my content. I took the transcript from my podcast and just put it in and told it, hey, just make me a LinkedIn carousel that looks professional, that I can actually use. And it made these beautiful, I did a little bit of a couple tweaks too, because sometimes it might end up, it's still using a little bit of AI. So I needed to make sure that it actually still kept everything that I wanted. So I made a few little tweaks to it. But after that, it made this beautiful carousel for me. And so I know a lot of people are like, AI is taking over the world. Well, maybe it doesn't have to take over the world in a way that a lot of people are actually using it, but maybe instead you can use it to improve on your content, and you can use it to improve on what you're putting out as well. Amen. Amen, Charming. Thank you so much for that beautiful little sponsorship ad. So good. So good. Okay. So yeah, definitely check out Gamma AI, because 1 year ago, I actually recorded a podcast episode about debt reduction strategies for 2024. And so because things change all the time, there's always newer things changing or old things that getting replaced. I want to be able to update that. And since we are talking about the financial foundation pyramid today, we might as well go ahead and just dive into updating that debt strategy. So I did make slides 1 year ago. Actually, I did make slides 1 year ago, and I do want to show you guys. And yes, I am still continuing on with Gamma. I made slides 1 year ago personally, and this is what they look like when it comes up. This is what they looked like 1 year ago. Just like this. So not that they were bad. These were not bad at all. But Gamma has made a much better slide presentation for me. And literally, again, even if you take notes and you upload it to Gamma and it'll create it for you, or you can take a full PowerPoint slides, documents, or whatever the case is, and upload it directly to Gamma. I mean, I'm telling you, Gamma is extremely worth it if you've never used Gamma before. So let's just go ahead and get right into our topic today of debt management, debt reduction strategies. So obviously the very first thing about debt that I want to talk about is that there are so many ways to be able to reduce your debt. There's a lot of things out there that can help you. There's a lot of tools, there's a lot of companies, there's a lot of professionals out there that can help you with reducing your debt. And so today we're going to talk about some of the most simple strategies to be able to actually do it without breaking the bank, without like spending a crap ton of money to get out of debt, right? A lot of things when it comes to it is really just being able to manage, cut interest, and also like just cut your costs as well. And so we're going to talk about some of the more difficult strategies, all the way to some of the more simple strategies, some advanced ones, and then also some very easy ones. Some companies, some options, some websites, tools, all types of strategies for you guys just to be able to reduce your debt. It's going to be very practical. And also I have in the description below tons of resources for you guys to be able to either click on or go to be able to get some assistance. And then obviously a lot of this stuff, these things are what we do at our firm for financial planning and retirement planning. As I said before, with the protection days, right, where we talked about insurances, I told you insurance is a major part of your financial foundation, and that's why we take care of insurance in my firm as well. But debt management is a major part of your of your financial foundation, and that's why we take care of debt management as well as emergency funds and investments, right? But the thing is that a lot of people don't ever sit down with a financial professional like myself or like someone in my firm, because they feel like they don't have enough money, they've got too much debt, they're not in a good place. And that's exactly when you need to be sitting down with somebody. So if you are looking at this and you're like, some of these options might work for me, then one, you can attempt them on your own. That's A-okay. Two, you can comment down below and ask for some more specific guidance and I'll help you out. Or three, you can use any of the links in the descriptions to be able to get access to any of the resources, whether that's sitting down with me, sitting down with someone in my firm, sitting down with somebody in one of the companies that I recommend, or looking for to use these tools, whatever that you want to be able to use them for. All right, so what is debt management actually? Debt management is where you have proper cash flow that is improving your debt situation, and you're actually disciplined about it as well. Like, it's okay to have debt. I think a lot of people truly feel like just because they have a lot of debt, they're a failure. Like, it's okay to have debt. And actually, sometimes using debt is much better for your credit as well. Debt can be used so very strategically to build on your credit and to build on what you have. I talked about it before when I talked about personal versus business versus corporate credit. There is a major reason why banks, why companies and corporations and higher net worth individuals are utilizing debt in order to help build their financial foundation. So debt isn't a bad thing. It's just a lot of times you just have poor management of debt, or you don't have enough cash flow. And it can truly be a great thing to be able to use as a part of your plan. But today we're going to be diving into the management part of it, and then even some strategies that could be used for good. Right? I think it's very necessary to be able to consistently budget, track, plan your money, right? I talk a lot about money management skills, MMS. I talk about it a lot. And when it comes to money management skills, money organizing is extremely important for properly diversifying your income, right? I talk about how 30% of your income should be going to your debt and emergency funds, 30%. And with debt management being second up on the financial foundation pyramid, that means that it has a major priority. Meaning that if you've got $200 left over at the end of the month and you're trying to think, well, should I put some of this money in emergency funds, or should I put some of this money and put this money into debt management to pay off my debt sooner? I'm going to tell you, maybe put $125 into debt and $75 into emergency funds. Right? If you've got an extra $200 a month and you're like, okay, do I need to get insurance, or do I need to get debt? Do I need to get emergency fund, or should I put this in the market and hope that it grows, or should I invest this? Well, I'm going to tell you, the majority of the money should go to the majority of it should go to your insurance, right? Then debt, and then emergency funds, and then investments if you have any left over. So it's extremely necessary to make sure they have good expense monitoring, and also realistic budgeting, right? Like, when it comes to budgeting, obviously knowing exactly how much income you're bringing in, knowing exactly what needs to go out, knowing all of your expenses as well, but then also being very realistic about especially the debt piece is also very important. How much debt can you fit into your budget, right? We're not trying to fill up our paycheck with debt, right? And then I'll talk about payment prioritization as well. So there are tons of options out there that can just help you out, like debt consolidation, credit negotiation, things like that, will just be able to help set you off on a good path long term. And that's really ultimately the goal, to be on a good path long term. Oh, hello. So what are the main types of debt strategies that are available? A lot of these you guys are probably familiar with. You probably heard a lot of these terms before, and I'm going to break them down, give you some examples of some of them as well. So you've got debt consolidation. This is just really simple. This is where you obtain a new loan, a new debt loan, right? With hopefully better terms, right? I'm going to talk about it a little bit. I'm going to break it down much more in depth. But you can get a new loan to be able to pay off all your existing, like, smaller debts, like credit cards, car loans, personal loans. You're not going to use it for like a mortgage or something like that. Medical debt, just so that way you can be able to have one nice payment. You've got bankruptcy, right? Now, bankruptcy is where you can basically get a fresh start. There's multiple types of bankruptcies, but you can get a fresh start when you can't repay your debts and you need a major, like, legal assistance in restructuring your financial life, right? And there's different types of bankruptcies that will offer different benefits and that have different solutions as well. But this is one that will definitely help you out if you're at a point where you need major reconstructing of your financial life. This is something that I want to try and definitely keep people from going down. I've not had anybody who's had to go down the route of bankruptcy yet, or excuse me, after working with us. So there are tons of other options. It's just that many people don't know about a lot of other options. Now, I'm not going to dive as much into bankruptcy today, just because of the fact that if you need bankruptcy, if you're looking into bankruptcy, we need to just sit down and look at your case individually. Bankruptcy is is a very legal process. And I've got bankruptcy attorneys as well, if you would like to be able to talk to someone. Then number 3, credit counseling. So this is just where you're just getting assistance in education, mostly about debt management and expense management. You got different programs and whatnot that you can work with. And credit counseling can be really helpful for long-term education strategies. Then we've got debt settlement as well. And this is just where you're basically, there's a couple different options with settlement. There's settlement, there's negotiation options. There's also resolution options. So we're going to talk about all of those, where ultimately you can resolve your debt for less than what you actually owe, or maybe cut the interest out, or maybe you've got a third party that's going to kind of come in, step in to act on your behalf, things like that. And so this can be also something that's really helpful, because you can get a lot of that debt cut in half, cut down, whatever the case is. And then last, we've got debt stacking, which might be something you guys have heard of. There's debt stacking, there's debt avalanching, but this is ultimately where you can start to organize your debts properly in a way to where you can use rollover payments to slowly pay off your debt over time until you're debt free. And you can include all types of debt in there. Now, we're going to dive into these all individually, and I'm going to also give some good examples as well, give some different strategies. But again, there are many different types of strategies for debt. I mean, many. These ones are attacking your debt head on, but there are some that are indirect, as in I talk about IULs a lot, right? And you can use IULs in this case, but you can use IULs kind of as your accumulation strategy, where you've got money growing and eventually you got enough money there where you can pay off your debt, right? You can just take the money out and pay off your debt, especially if you're prioritizing protection, because IULs are life insurance, but they build really good cash value. So you can borrow the money, pay off your debt. And then now, if you want to pay your debt, your loan from your IUL back, you can. You don't have to, but you can if you choose to. Then you've got that, right? And now you've just taken care of all your bad debt, all this weighted debt on you. Then in the future, if you do need to go into debt, maybe you need to buy a car, maybe you want to buy a house. If you got enough money or cash value, you can just borrow the money from your IUL, and instead of becoming debt into the bank, you are just borrow that money out of your own IUL and pay for the down payment, or pay for whatever vehicle or whatever piece of debt that it would naturally be. And instead, now you are your own bank and you borrow your money from yourself, right? So that's an indirect strategy, but that's a financial strategy, not necessarily a debt strategy. So we're going to talk about these debt strategies, and then we'll talk also about some of the different financial strategies when it comes to maintaining debt management. So let's go ahead and talk about debt consolidation. So debt consolidation, like I said before, you get one loan, and that one loan will ultimately cover all of the rest of all of your debt that you want to be able to wrap into it. Now, when it comes to debt consolidation, it is great because you can get one monthly payment. This makes it much easier for debt management, right? Where we're actually properly organizing our money and where our money is going. Because a lot of times people cannot keep track of all of their debts. They can't keep track of all the interest rates. They can't keep track of who they have to pay debt to. A lot of times you don't even know how to contact your lenders, creditors, or even or even the consolidation no. What is the term? But the term where collections company, you can't even contact the collections company. Right? So simplifying it all into one single payment helps a lot of people, right? Then also you can potentially get an average overall reduction to your interest rate. What I mean by that is, let me draw it for you. Let's go yellow. What I mean by that is, let's just say you've got like a 30% interest rate. Oh, you cannot see. All right, let's say you've got a 30% interest rate. I'm gonna go here. %30 interest rate on like, like 2 credit cards. And you've got like maybe a 12% interest rate on a vehicle. And maybe you got like a 20% interest rate on a loan. And you lump all of these into a debt consolidation loan. You might get, if we were to take this 30, 20, we can take this 30 plus 12 plus 20 divided by 3. That's 20% average. You might get maybe something like an 18% loan or 18% interest rate on your debt consolidation loan, which could be overall lower interest rates on average, right? You can get something like that. And this is also just throwing some numbers out there, but you could potentially cut off a lot of this interest. You could. So with that, okay, just delete the whole thing. There we go. Bam. So because of that, you could really cut a lot of interest off of some cards, some credit cards and loans and such. But like the interest rate is still going to be pretty high. So like don't think that like you're cutting off all interest because you're lumping it into one. And sometimes you might have to end up paying it. Like what actually happens is you take out a new loan for the amount of debt that you have, and then you pay off all of the debt with that loan, and now you've just got this one loan. And sometimes some companies instead, they will go and pay off all that debt for you and just give you the consolidation loan. Now, this does have a relatively minimal credit impact, right? You can maintain your credit score with a lot less damage because you are paying off all of those debts. So that's one good thing. You're paying off all those debts, but you just ultimately transfer the same account balance to a new debt. Also, if you close those older accounts, like say you've got a really old account that completely closes and is removed from your credit report, for example, just in case maybe you've got some situation like that, it's not always that way, then you're going to be minimizing, you're going to be shortening your credit history, right? And if you're shortening your credit history, that also does not look favorable. So you also understand that part too. But taking out a loan or applying for a loan will definitely have some credit impact. So do understand that. And then also, depending on the way that you pay off those loans, those debts, will also impact your credit in some way as well. And then to getting that new loan is also something that you need to be able to qualify for. And so as a caution, understand that you need to be able to have enough credit and a good enough credit standing in order to even get approved for a debt consolidation loan. Right? If you've got bad credit, you're not going to get approved for that consolidation loan. And if you do, your interest rate is going to be worse than all the other interest rates for everything else. That's what I've seen, right? With a lot of families. And it is so sad because most people don't know about other options. So with this, you also get pretty much no month-to-month relief, and you pay off all of your debt with very little reduction in the principal. And again, I talked to you guys about principal as as the amount of money that you start with, right? So you get very little relief. And a lot of times the reason why someone is looking for some debt reduction strategies is because they don't have enough cash flow month to month. Here comes the hiccups. I've had hiccups since last night. They don't have enough income, right? They don't have enough income for just to live their life month to month. Debt consolidation isn't going to fix that. And then also, like I said before, a lot of companies might charge high interest rates as well, especially with those with very little credit education, very bad or unfavorable credit situations. These hiccups are going to be the death of me. Why is this so small? Bam, there we go. Just throw anything in right here. Perfect. This is what Gamma AI looks like, by the way. It looks amazing. All right, bam, here we go. So next, we've got credit repair services. So when it comes to credit repair services, there's all types of credit repair services that can help you out, right? Their goal is to help you restore and correct your poor credit score. So you actually get legitimate assistance in helping you with negative items on your credit report, and they can help you even. They can even help you to cancel some of the these hiccups are really grabbing my head. Cancel some of the negative stuff that's on your report. They even coach you on how to build your credit profile. Let's say like you've got like a LinkedIn profile. You got the same exact thing with your credit profile, and sometimes you just need assistance on actively updating it or rebuilding it, rebranding it. So it works the same exact way. And credit repair services can definitely help out with that. Also, obviously, because you have professionals coaching you, you're going to be getting great education for long-lasting success overall. They're going to help you build good financial habits that's going to allow you to maintain good credit for life. Now, they do a lot of credit and debt budgeting and plans that are specifically designed to help you with managing your expenses, your debt management, debt repayment effectively. The downside to this is that one, sometimes they can become very costly, right? They can also potentially take a long time. There are some credit repair services that take about 7 to 10 years. 7 to 10 years. You're not going to be reducing your debt or anything like that. Like they might help you a little bit with like cutting some interest. But for the most part, you're going to be getting no month-to-month relief. And you're probably going to pay almost all of your debt as well. Not that it's a bad thing, but because it can take so long, you're going to be paying on that debt for that period of time. So there are some credit repair services out there where some of these individuals, they will take just about 3 to 6 months just to kind of help you out. They'll do major credit repair. They'll be really hardcore attacking your credit. But for the most part, a lot of them are going to take a lot longer. And once again, if your goal is if you need month-to-month relief, this is not something that's going to help you out with month-to-month relief, but will help you out for long-term sustainment. So if your goal is to just learn much more about credit and debt, get into a situation where your family will never ever need to worry about debt, have troubles with debt, this is a great option for you. And also we've got credit repair specialists as well that can help you out with that, as who partners with my firm as well. So also, if you are credit, also one other thing, for any of the things that I ever talk about when it comes to literally anything, if you are a specialist or you are skilled in that, I definitely want to have a conversation, because obviously like these hiccups, these are all ways that I can be able to provide more services to my clients. So let's say that you are a credit repair specialist and you see what I do. I would love to be able to connect with you, because if our values align and you also have great services and products and I believe in you, then I'd love to be able to connect my clients with you to provide more services to my clients. So just so that way you guys know, I do have open partnerships. I thought I could get through the day without any hiccups. Oh man, I thought I could get through the day without any hiccups. Hiccups are not great. I mean, having bad hiccups, I have bad hiccup syndrome is what I call it. having bad hiccups is is not good when you are a video creator, because hiccups doesn't wait for the video. Hiccups don't wait for the video, unfortunately. It doesn't wait for it to end or stop. All right, so let's talk about some debt settlement options. So some debt settlement options. These are great for people who need month-to-month relief. Also, these are great for people who are having like major career transitions. Maybe you were just recently fired. Maybe you've got some major financial burdens going on. This is going to be great for people in those situations, but it's definitely going to be specifically for individuals who are in a bad place financially. This will help provide relief from a lot of high interest credit cards, loans, things like that. So when it comes to debt settlement, debt negotiation, debt resolution, what typically happens, let me talk about this in a smaller case, in a more realistic situation, or more understood situation. So when you've got, let's say you've got a loan for $10,000. You've had it for a while, and maybe you've been struggling on making some payments, and you've had this loan for maybe a few years. You might get a letter in the mail say, hey, we will settle the rest of your, $6,000 of debt. We'll settle it down to, let's say $3,000 if you make one single payment, or if you pay 4 payments of $1,000, we'll settle it for that $4,000. And if you pay, let's say $500 over the next 12 months, then we'll settle it for just $6,000, right? That's settlement options. That is what debt settlement is. So essentially, you get the option of flexible payments, where you can get one adaptable payment monthly, where you can choose one payment or a payment plan, ultimately a new one, in order to be able to reduce and get out of debt faster. So that's what debt settlement is. Now, sometimes you can do this with a company, and a company might help you settle your debt on behalf of yourself, though. As an example, there's you have the ability to work with a company, and what they will do is they will help negotiate on behalf of you for one of those settlement options, like a lump sum payment, or like pay 2 or 3 times over the next few months, or pay, a monthly payment for the next year or so. They will settle on behalf of you. Like, they will work with your lender or your creditor to settle on behalf of you. The good thing about that is that when you work with a company like that, they will offer you flexible payment options while they are trying to get those negotiations. The downside is that it does have a short-term negative credit impact, because of the fact that you're also likely going to have to stop paying on your debt. Now, you can choose to continue paying on your debt if you like to, but this depends on some companies. Some companies tell you not to, because they need you not to be communicating with the creditor while they do settle it. And then some other companies, they don't really care if you do. So it just depends. But if you do choose to continue paying on it, that's fine. If you choose not to, that's also okay. A lot of times that the offset of the settlement of your debt will really help you out in the long run. But this is for people who are in a major financial crisis anyway. So right now, at that point in time, they're not really as concerned about their credit. Plus, with good coaching, they can be able to get coached back to where they need to be, or even better. So that settlement options in this case can offer flexible payments where you can change, pay a little bit more, pay a little bit less in any month that will adapt to your payment schedule. Also, you do get immediate relief as well. You get immediate month-to-month relief, because you get a reduction in your monthly payments as well. If you're paying $1,000 a month, depending on the companies, depending on the settlements, you might be paying $500 a month for all of your debt, right? And then also, you don't have any interest charges most often you don't have any interest charges. So because of that, you also reduce significantly the amount of debt that you're going to end up paying on. Can't say that you will always pay less principal, right? The amount that you initially had as a loan, right? If your loan was $10,000, but with a 25% interest rate, you're gonna have a whole lot of extra interest on that. I can't say that in all the cases you'll reduce that $10,000 originally, but at least all the extra interest can be cut off. You can also a lot of times get quick resolution where your debt is paid off pretty much in 2 to 5 years, and that's much faster than just minimum payments. So you get immediate good relief overall and resolution. And a lot of the programs are low to no cost, and sometimes the cost of it is already built into your monthly payment. As an example, like I said, I gave that $1,000 down to $500 a month. That $500 a month would include the cost of the program. So there are some really great options on resolution and settlement negotiation for debt in this case. Like I said before, though, understand this is for people who are in major financial crises, right? There are some ways to use this as a strategy, especially because let's say the other piece. Also, this only applies to unsecured debt like credit cards, personal loans, private student loans, and medical debt, collections, things like that. It doesn't apply to things that to secured debt. There are some other options for secured debt, though. We'll talk about here shortly, but because of that, since it is only unsecured debt, if you do have secured debt, which is typically better debt, right? Maybe a mortgage or a car. If let's say your total debt is $2,000 a month, $1,000 of that is secured debt, and $1,000 of that is unsecured debt. If debt settlement for your unsecured debt bring your monthly payments down to $500, you just got $500 added to your discretionary income that you can now take and apply to your secured debt, ultimately paying down your favorable debt even faster. Because you're paying down your favorable debt even faster, and you've got also probably a large chunk of debt, right? Like a lot of times your secured debt is like your mortgage. So you got maybe $200,000 to $500,000 of a secured or good, healthy debt. If you're paying extra to that, then you're paying down your debt faster, which looks favorable on credit. So sometimes you might not even have that massive credit impact or even small credit impact negatively because of the fact that you're able to then take some of that extra money and pay off extra debt or pay off your good debt, while also having the other side where you are also trying to resolve your debt as well. And then lastly here, we've got debt stacking options. So there's debt stacking or debt avalanching. But this is where you get the chance to systematically reduce your debt based on your income. So it has no negative impact to your credit score whatsoever. It has nothing to do with your credit score. It has nothing to do with resolution or anything like that. But it allows you to start just reducing your debt in a systematic way. That's it. It's just a strategy of proper money tracking to make sure that you're paying your debt in a proper strategy, in a proper order, the best way you possibly can to reduce all your debt. It's a really good solution for all debt, including mortgages, auto loans, and things like that, which a lot of other strategies typically don't include. And that's just because it's just something that you can individually do. This costs nothing to implement. It costs nothing to implement. It's literally, you can just find this on a website and set it up yourself. No fees, no service costs, but it does maximize your debt repayment dollars ultimately. Like how much money you have to pay back debt. If you've got $1,500 a month to pay your debt, it will take that $1,500 and tell you the best way every single month, the best schedule to pay your debt. And that's about it. Now it's super simple to set up, But the issue is that it requires a lot of discipline and accountability. You have to be consistently looking at your debt payment strategies and always apply it and always work with it, right? There is no monthly relief because you're paying off all your debts. You're literally paying off all the debt with all the interest and everything. So if month-to-month relief is a goal of yours, this is not the best strategy for it. This is definitely something that every person should have. If they do have debt, though, they should have a schedule or illustration of exactly how long it's going to take them to pay off their debt. I want to show you guys some examples. So after all of this, after all those options are said and done, emergency funds and saving strategy. Breaking the debt cycle requires balancing both savings and debt repayment at the same time. A lot of people, I built this up for service members initially, so you got service members here. A lot of people, they build into their debt management fund, or excuse me, they pay off their debt without also simultaneously building their emergency fund. But the one thing that happens when you just get out of debt is something else happens. And if you don't have an emergency fund, you're going to go right back into debt. It happens all of the time. So in order to prevent this, in order to prevent yourself from having to borrow like debt money, or borrow debt because of unexpected expenses, you need to have a dual approach to both debt and emergency funds. It is extremely small, or it's extremely important, but even those small consistent contributions to your emergency fund while paying off your debt is going to be extremely, extremely important. So let me show you some different strategies for some debt stuff. All right, so first off, I want to show you what this debt stacking looks like. I want to show you what this debt stacking looks like. So if you want to do debt stacking on your own, you can go to a website called undebt.it. Now, scroll past all of this stuff right here. You don't need any of that stuff, but scroll past all of this stuff here and come here to try the debt snowball calculator now. And it just talks to you about rollover payments and things like that and how to use this calculator. But essentially, you're going to put in all of your debts, all the information, and then how much money, like your debt payoff budget, how much money you have to pay off your debt. So obviously, this is going to need to be at least the minimum payment for all of your debt. So need to be at least a minimum payment for all of your debt. So let's say that all of your debt combined is, $2,500 a month. This needs to be at least $2,500 a month. But if you do have extra income, if you do have extra money, right? Maybe you got an extra $500 a month that you can put towards debt, then put in $3,000, and this will tell you the best way to pay down that debt according to Debt Snowball or Debt Avalanche. It's going to be, you can choose one of these and you can play around with these whenever you do build it up. But let me give you an example of a client. So this client has a Chase credit card, $2,040 is the balance. Minimum payment, $59. Navy Fed, vehicle, student loans, another vehicle, and their mortgage. This is their total debt. These are the total monthly minimum payments and their interest rates. And this is their payoff budget. Is this the minimum? No, this is not the minimum. So they have an additional $962 a month that they can put towards their debt payments. And I think that's because they were also paying extra. We were also paying extra to all of this stuff anyway. So they were paying extra towards their mortgage. Yeah, I think they were paying extra towards their mortgage early whenever I met with them. And so this is just going to be a decently accurate way to tell you the best way to pay down that debt if you're paying the lowest balance first. So what this will do is put this all on a schedule. It'll give you all of the debts that you have, and tell you exactly what to pay and how much to pay towards it. So for the Chase card, instead of paying the minimum, $59 a month, is going to tell you put all of that extra $962 a month towards your Chase credit card. So that way in 3 or 4 months, your Chase credit card is going to be done. And then you stop using that. And then take that extra money that you now have from the Chase credit card and your extra money and put it towards your Navy Fed credit card. And do the same thing. Once that's done, you're going to take all that money, roll it over, do it to your vehicle, pay off your vehicle. Then I think this is less your card, or your card, and then take all that money, roll it over to your student loans, pay off your student loan, then your vehicle, and then do all of that with your mortgage. When it's all said and done, their principal and interest was at $585,000. $254,000 of that was interest. Their total actual interest that they would have paid would have been 43.4%. You see here, this is not 43.4%. And no, it does not work. It does not work in the way that you would. It does not work in the way that you would add 14.9 plus 8 plus 5% plus 1.5 plus 7. It would not work in this way, in that way where you're just adding all the interest. This is telling you the amount of interest that you're going to totally end up paying after all the minimum payments are paid. And you continue to pay on all the interest. That's what this is telling you. You're going to paying almost half of the actual amount of debt that you actually are going to pay. And then years until you're debt free, 20 years with the mortgage prior, and the debt freedom day, April 2045. And obviously you can see here the major differences with just having this, right? Principal and the percentage paid in interest, only 0.25% of that, of their actual debt was interest. They get out of debt in 8 years, 8.5 years instead of 20 years. And their debt freedom date is September 2032. Huge difference for them. And if you want to be able to see like all the rest of this and how it all breaks down and when they'll be out of debt, you can see it here. And then there's just everything else. This is a free tool. There are companies out there though who are making you pay for it, probably because they pay for some sort of tool that's just like it's just exactly like this. That's just exactly like this. There are other tools that might seem similar, but there are tools that people use that are exactly like this that they have to pay for, so they make you pay for it. Don't go to anybody for debt snowballing. You can just do this yourself, undebt.it. Next, I want to show you an example strategy for one of my clients. Here we go. An example strategy for one of my clients. Can I zoom in? So this is a style of a debt program where their goal is not to do just a debt snowball, and is also not to do any resolution, any settlement. It's not to do any consolidation loans or anything like that. But this is ultimate top tier management of debt. So this is a whole crazy report. So I'm just going to show you some of the highlights. So this is one of my clients who more recently work with one of my debt attorney firms, and they ultimately found that this option was better for them than like settlement or consolidation, negotiation, resolution, credit repair, or anything like that. But this software is basically a GPS for your finances. So it takes your income, your monthly expenses, and your debt payments, and tells you exactly where to put your money at for either building your savings, paying off your debt, paying off your expenses. If your income changes, if your income varies, if you've got, whatever the case, if you got multiple incomes, whatever, it will be able to walk you through the financial GP, like your finances month to month, and tell you exactly what to pay. And its goal is to teach you about interest cut. Excuse me. Its goal is to help you cut interest. So it utilizes strategies of paying on your principal directly in order to cut interest. So this family, had a mortgage, 2 credit cards, or 2 loans, and 3 credit cards, totaling $708,000 of debt. The monthly payment, about $7,300. Their monthly expenses, so like obviously other things outside of debt, so like just regular expenses, food, gas, groceries, all of those things, about $7,050. And so their income is about $15,000 a month. So they've got about $1,000 left over at the end of the month of discretionary income. So every month, or this month, they'll end up paying a total of $4,200 in interest alone. 61% of their monthly payments to debt, $4,200. And over the next 50 years, their plan is going to cost them over $1,200 a month in interest. They're literally going to spend $5.38 for every $1 that they pay down in principal, just on their mortgage alone. And in April, so in 15 and 16, 17 years from now, they just bought a house. By the way, they just bought this house. In 17 years, before they've even paid off half their debt, they're still going to owe more than half of their actual mortgage. So what the financial GPS, or what this Money Max account tool does is going to essentially work with them to cut and eliminate their interest on everything, their mortgage, their cards, their loans, anything else, student loans, whatever the case is, and repurpose that money as well. So their total debts that they would have ended up paying would have been $1.4 million. And that's, again, more than twice how much they actually owe totally in debt. With the GPS account, with the GPS tool, they're only going to pay $931,000. Interest payments, $743 down to $223. It was going to take them 50 years to become debt free, or 600 payments, versus now 9.2 years. Again, that is with their mortgage that they just got in the last year. 10 years to become debt free. And wealth accumulation, if obviously they're still working with me on other things, but if they were to take the extra money that they saved over using that extra 40 years to start building wealth, then they will build $5.1 million. Just if they repurpose that money that they saved from not spending that money on debt versus not having any wealth accumulation at all. So they'll save $519,000 of debt or interest. They'll save 40 years of debt payments, and they'll also save and earn and grow money to about $5.1 million. This is massive. Average savings per month, $4,700. This was massive for them. So if obviously something like this suits you or sounds good, again, this does not give you month-to-month relief, but this is something of more of a debt management plan for you. This is going to be huge for you. Now, one other thing that I want to pull up for you is from a super partnership that I have that I wanted to be able to show you guys. So this is Weightless Financial. Weightless Financial is one of my go-to debt management companies. So I've been working with Weightless Financial for a while now, and Weightless Financial, they're designed to help you achieve financial freedom, specifically with a focus on the debt side as well. And they want to help you ultimately change your thinking, behavior, and actions around how you deal with money and debt. Now, with them, they will take care of literally all types of things about debt. Their job is to educate you, very similar to how I work. Their job is to educate you and help you out with how money works ultimately. They've got tons of products and services, tons of programs that I have been really enjoying setting my clients up with, and it's been very, very helpful for them. They've got debt resolution, obviously. If you do need debt resolution as well, where you need that month-to-month relief, you need different options. The minimum debt for that is about $6,000 though, with no maximum limit. That program is for unsecured loans, however. So make sure that if you do want some of that month-to-month relief, you go ahead and utilize the link that's down below. I have it in the description for you to work with, whether it's financial. Just make sure that when you go, you put my name in, Charming. And when it asks for the agency that I work with, put in Royal Family Finance or RFF. That's my agency. You guys probably seen that a bunch. But normally it reduces the client's minimum payments down to about 50% upon enrollment, which is huge. And also, they typically will help you to pay off your debt within about 2 to 5 years. You can choose your enrollment period. They also help out with federal student loans as well. The federal student loan program is amazing. They write contracts and work with the Department of Student Aid or the Department of Education to be able to actually help you cut your student loans down. And they get you on some really good plans. There are attorneys that are working with Waitlist Financial that ultimately write these contracts and work on behalf of you. If you've got back IRS debt, they can also help you out with that. They've got different types of approaches. They've got, first off, their investigation approach, just to identify if you really actually need to pay down that, because a lot of people get into a situation where they've got this IRS back debt, but in the first place, they probably didn't actually need to. Maybe there were some situation that they got into that might not even have needed to owe taxes. And then the second part is a resolution stage, which is where they're ultimately going to bring all of your taxes filings to the current year. And they're also going to, again, work with the IRS and writing contracts to work with the IRS on behalf of you as well. They've got all types of things like vehicle repossession defense, if you need that, or summons support. They've also got that financial GPS Money Max account tool that I just showed you as well, to help you to be able to reduce your mortgage or your auto loans and things like that. They do have credit repairs services and restoration services if you are looking for some way to be able to help you improve your credit score and bring it up. They do have that really great credit repair program, which I have talked about as well. And then also they do help out with consolidation loans if you need any kind of consolidation loan assistance as well. So with them, I'm going to say they literally put the clients first. They are all about helping you guys out. They have very little to no instances of unresolved client like upsets and cases. They have really good customer service as well. Really good, friendly people, and their attorneys are just always working to really truly help you out. They've got different academies and courses that you can be able to go through. They have this money mindset quiz. So there's a ton of options with Waitlist Financial, and I would highly recommend that you guys work with them. I've got the link in the description down below, or if you need some advice on whether or not Waitlist Financial is right for you, you can let me know. You can shoot me some. You can let me know in the comments, or you can just again schedule a one-on-one with me, and I will work with you guys on that. Just to give you some examples of some of the clients that I've worked with them. I've got a client that sat down with them, had about $10,593 of total debt, including student loans. And they started a 30-month term period, and he chose to pay bi-weekly, $126 bi-weekly. So about $250 a month versus him paying about $600 a month for the next 5 years or 6 years. Excuse me. I got another client who has student loans, and they're paying $340 a month for student loans, and Waitlist Financial reduced it down to $220 a month for the first 7 months, and then down to $49 a month afterwards for the remaining of, I think this program was going to be about 5 years. I've got another client who had $75,000 in student loans, and estimated payments were going to be $600 a month once they got out of the deferral period. But then Waitlist Financial was able to drop that down to $200 a month for them. So huge I mean, I got another client who had 11 credit cards and loans, and their monthly payment was $2,464 a month. It would have never paid it off because they didn't have the extra income at all. But Wayless Financial got it down to $935 a month for only 36 months with them. So definitely check out Wayless Financial. If you have never heard of Wayless Financial, I do have the links in the description down below, and they'll work with you on behalf of me for free. So with all that being said, if you want to maintain proper financial security and debt management, stop using store credit cards and regular credit cards, especially if you're in a bad place financially. If you cannot, one of my clients actually just said it a couple days ago. He said, if I can't buy it twice with cash, I'm not going to buy it. And I like to say, if you can't afford it with cash, don't put it on a credit card. Especially if you're in a bad place financially, right? Stop utilizing these high interest debts, especially those store credit cards. Those are probably going to be the worst ones. There's a lot of people that I know that use CDs or mutual funds for emergency funds. We're going to talk about this on our next episode, but CDs and mutual funds do nothing when you need random emergency, when you have random emergencies. So start using high yield savings accounts for your emergency funds. Start using one of these or some of these, multiple of these debt reduction strategies. These are going to be very important for you as well. When you can lump sum your debt, this is going to be huge. If you can take like tax returns and pay off some of your debt, bonuses, whatever the case is, lump summing your debt is going to be really good for you. Now, again, I would highly recommend sitting down with me or one of a credit professional or debt specialist, maybe even Wayless Financial, when you do have lump sums, because this is going to be massive to understand just paying it, because just paying straight to your debt, you could be just paying straight to your interest first, which would do nothing for you, instead of paying properly to your principal, or even knowing which account you should pay to first. And then also become your own bank as well. I talk about using IULs to be able to self-fund your own life. This will eliminate the need for loans as well. So with all of that being said, debt can be a very, very simple thing in order to reduce. It can be. The unfortunate part about it is that most people don't know many options, or they don't sit down with somebody. And almost all of those options I just showed you right there are either free, low cost, or the cost is built into whatever your plan is, with you also paying less. You also be paying less than whatever you're paying beforehand. Now, I've got tons of other companies, firms, there's other strategies, other ways to be able to build. These are just some of the basic general ways to be able to assist the general public. But if you have any questions about your specific debt situation, definitely reach out and we can be able to give you direct information, education, and strategies on the debt piece for yourself. With that being said, today was great. I hope you guys have an amazing weekend. You do some really great things. Go and let me know how your weekend goes after this week, and I'll see you guys on Monday. I'll see you guys on Monday for our emergency funds high yield savings account day. So with that, take great care, guys. Check out Gamma.app. Also check out Wayless Financial in the description down below. If you own a business, you got a 1099 income or LLC or anything like that, also check out our free corporate credit resolute or corporate credit building strategies. Also in the comment, just look at the description. Look at the description. You'll be able to find it there. All right, you guys have a beautiful day and have an amazing weekend.